Alright, so today I'm working on this 70 Buick Wildcat trunk, and I don't know, I just remember back in my younger days I used to try to take these clips out, and I would always tear them trying to get them out. So take your pair of needle nose pliers. You want to pry that up as far as you can get it to come up, and then you want to just squeeze. You want to squeeze these two things together in there. And then pull that clip out of there. What it is, you want to push them together, and then you could pull that clip out of there. So, all right, then I'm gonna come in and I lost the screw in there. Always good to have a trusty old. Ah, look at that. That wasn't the screw, that was the clip. That was the screw. Alright, so as you see, I like to have a bag. It'll just be for the trunk. I'm gonna put this clip back on here. So when the time comes, I want to put the clip and the screw back in where everything will be there. Now, when I take this wire out, pulling the wire out here. Now, I'm gonna look like this is gonna be simple enough to run this through here. So, but some of them, it's kind of hard to get that to come through. So, what I would do is have a string. Leave a string in here, put a piece of tape, and put a piece of tape, leave a string in there where I could tie the string back on the end of the wire when I get ready to pull this back through. Even though this is cut, I don't know why they cut it, why they just didn't unhook it here. But oh well, I don't know. Things people do. Because I'm gonna be jamming this trunk here. So I want to take all of this different stuff off of here. Just gotta get that to pop loose. Then that key and everything will come out of there. So the rubber gasket, everything pops out of there. Like I say, so I have this bag here that'll have 70 Buick, 70 Wildcat, and everything out of this trunk will be in there. Good shop vacuum is always a good thing to have. Less dirt in there, dust, the better, because then that way you're not getting overspray. You know, that stuff be blowing out when you're actually painting or jamming the trunk. So then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you that the way they had these hoods or trunks back in the day, well, you can actually see it there. Somebody wasn't doing their job, you know. People, see, that's got birds on it. And when I'm scuffing, you know, I like to knock those birds down so that way I'm not cutting my hand when I'm knocking those birds down. So like I say there, you can see that's sharp right there. I used to work in a trim shop, a die cast plant, and on these parts we used to would have to knock these birds down off of here. But somebody just wasn't doing their job that day. So I'm going to knock all of these down because all of them are high. So I'll be knocking these all down. Alright, so, man, I don't believe it. All of these, nothing on this trunk had been burred. Even little well tabs was high, and I don't want them high. I'll come back through, I'll clean this up, and I'll re-seam seal this. But yeah, all of these I have to grind down because I don't want those sharp edges on there. So I have to come down, even where the little plug go here was high. And then even right here where this one still need to be grind some. See that? I didn't hit that one. I got to come back through and hit it, but that's the way you want it looking. Because like the screws that hold this chrome on, it's got a little plastic bushing washer in between there. And when I was taking that off, I'm like, man, all of these things are cracked. I know this car is old, you know, 1970, but I'm like, normally you get a couple that, you know, are in good shape, you know, because I don't even know if you can get the plastic bushings anymore. But that's why. When they tighten it down, those burrs cracked, you know, and cut up the bushings that was there. So, yeah, but like I say, I don't know. I tell people when we get done messing with these cars, they normally better than what the factory did. So I'm gonna pull all of this and I'll get all of this out of here. I'll clean all of this up. The trunk ain't in bad condition. So it's an Arizona car, Bob said, so it should be all right. So you want to come in here with a screwdriver and just try to get this stuff out of here. It's old and brittle. It normally pops. It normally pops right off, so you just want to clean all of this stuff off of here. Okay, you see, it's tedious, but it really gets in there. And I know a lot of guys will probably say, you should send that deck lid in and get everything dipped. Well, if you got money to do all of that, that's one thing. And if that's what I was going for with this car, that's what I would do, but it's not that bad rusted. I'm on, I take a quarter of a cup of Pour 15 and I pour it in here after I treat it with the metal treatment, and I tape off all the holes, and I move that trunk around and get the Pour 15 in there all over where the rust is at. And sometime I might have to do it twice, but the car won't be seeing no more winters as long as I have the car. Okay, so you see there, it does a pretty good job cleaning that up with that die grinder. So okay, so I know a lot of people say, well, okay, the best thing to do is put that, have the car dipped, have the deck lid dipped, the doors. I'm not really going that way with this car. I never have with any of mine. I try to find the panels that are pretty decent. So I put Pour 15 in there, and I move that hood around, tape up all the holes where the Pour 15 won't come out, and I try to treat all along the seams, all the way around the trunk. I try to treat it with Pour 15 to seal it off from the backside. That's the thing with rust. If you don't seal air and water off from the backside, no matter how good the outside look, it's gonna rust back through. So you gotta treat it. It's just like cancer. You gotta treat it. You gotta treat the panels, and that's what they do when they dip it. You take it down, you have them dipped, it strips everything off. It'll show you wherever your rust holes are at if the panel is bad. It's a good way to go. I haven't did none of my cars like that. I try to find decent cars that's rust free, and then if I have to cut into the corners of the doors, the corner of the doors, or part of the deck lid is rotted, when I replace that, I treat all in there with the Pour 15. So I try to seal it off the best I can. I mean, if you got the money, I'm just the man in the backyard in my garage doing a few cars, and I've been doing it for years. I've painted quite a few cars over the days. I done had quite a few cars over the days. So I just work with the tools that I have. I don't have a big shop. I don't have, the presses and shrinker stretchers. I mean, I don't have all of these tools. So I have to fabricate. You give me a good welder, couple of cutting tools, die grinder, and paint gun, primer gun, and hey, I'm going to town. So hey, I've had no complaints. Everybody to see my jobs. A lot of times people don't believe that I do them out my backyard, but in the garage, but I get it done. So I'm just trying to show you little tricks and tips and ways, and these tools, you invest in a couple of $1,000s in tools, and mine have lasted me for years. I oil my die grinder by it having that long cord on there. I put about 5 drops in there every time I use it. It's a must that you oil your tools that you're using. If you don't oil them, I've had most of my tools I've had for the last 20 years using them. So you just got to keep them oiled up, just like motor in your car. no difference. You got to keep them oiled, you know. It's like your body. You gotta work with that. My hands be all crusty looking a lot of times unless I'm going out to do something, and that's because oil and paint do not mix. So, hey, I do what I do with my hands. My hands, they look a little ashy a lot of times. That's because I don't use a lot of, you know, lotions and Vaselines. Only when I'm going somewhere or something like that, you know, because the oil and the water do not mix. So, all right.